So hello and welcome to the Tiny Mini Workshop. Some people on Instagram have been asking what I've been doing and said why don't I start a YouTube channel. I thought why not, let's give it a go. I'm a bit worried because quite a lot of mini videos I see online actually don't really get many views. Not to say that they're not useful, and I mean I watch them all because I'm trying to learn as well, but I guess maybe I thought, what's the point? However, I sort of changed my mind and I thought maybe I'll film things. Let's do a few weeks of filming and see what we get. So welcome to the Tiny Mini Workshop. I'm going to give you a quick tour. We'll just cut to that. Is the Mini. A little bit about her. Nothing. She's literally nothing special. She is a 1993 SPI, not a Cooper, just an SPI. You can see it's got a little bit of detail here. You can see the engine size there, 1275. The engine is down here. I bought her in October 2020. As a project. I've got to be honest, I watched Project Binky and got a little bit excited and thought I'd buy my own Mini to restore. I've never restored a car before, so this is a learn as you go sort of process. So here's the Mini. You can see she is on a rotary jig. I just bought the jig because I was more interested in doing the car than building the jig, and it seemed to be money well spent. I have already started doing it, so it's not going to be a video from the very beginning, but not really much has happened, to be honest, in the last year. Broke her down into boxes and I've started to repair one side of the floor. Thought I'd start with the floor, then you can't see my welds, so this is a new floor pan which has gone in and been welded up to the tunnel. There is some seriously bad welding here that needs to be ground out and redone, and there is a hole in the back that needs to be ground out and redone. But we're just in the process of putting in the doorstep. I'm just waiting for some parts from Mini Spares. So there is a I think it's a jacking point support here. There is one that's missing here, and there's one missing at the very back here that's needed. It's not very common to see these on repairs, it seems, but there is a panel here that I would like to put in. I also want to touch up these welds here for the heel board. The corner of this heel board has been fixed. And I've got all the stuff to weld back in this, and I've got the panel coming, the closing panel here. So unfortunately, when I first got the car, within unfortunately, when I first got the car, I started stripping down. I saw the floor was damaged everywhere, and I immediately jumped onto Mini Spares and I bought the floor for this side without really knowing what I was doing. So I ended up buying the floor and the what is it called? This oversill. I bought the oversill by mistake, without realising I'd need all the little bits, the filling plates, the closing panel, all this stuff. So made a bit of a mistake there, but those bits are now coming this week. I ordered them just off eBay because I just wanted one or two little bits, and buying small amounts from Mini Spares makes no sense with the delivery. It doesn't really cost save, it seems. So I've ordered those bits to come in. So as I said, the front, the middle and the back of this panel, and then I'm ready to put the doorstep back in, which I'm happy for. I only just reattached the door, which doesn't close very well. The hinges on this side had snapped, so I've put through some M8 bolts here, but I'm not happy with this setup. I can see why they put studs in, because it's going to be far easier to fit the door. So at some point I will weld these bolts through, and they'll cut the heads off and put some, I presume, nylocks on. So yeah, there's a lot to do on this car. Maybe I'll just point over everything that's wrong. This has been fixed by myself. Not happy with these welds here, so I'm going to grind them back as well and redo them. Up here, this area here needs fixing. but I'm going to get the scuttle panel off at some point to get a proper fix in there. The bottom also needs closing off. This panel seemed to be really expensive, and I wasn't willing to pay for it, so I've instead opted to fix this one. So I need to fix this one. I put the new front end on and clean this all up, and I presume the other wing is just going to be the same bloody mess. The scuttle panel is a Magnum one for some I say for some reason. The scuttle panel is a Magnum. It's rusted out. They didn't paint or prep the bottom of any of the under panels. So it's had a new front end at some point, and it's all rusted from the inside. So I don't understand. I'll show you the inside of the car as well. So you can see my nicely repaired floor here. So I don't know what they were doing, but there was a patch there. There's a patch there. There's another patch there, and they've really screwed it all up. So there's going to be a lot of repairing to do there. You can see there's a nice hole through the underside there, but that's not too bad. The one I'm really worried about is the floor, the boot floor. The whole thing is shot to pieces. So I'm looking forward to repairing this. It's going to be lots of body welding repair. So I've got this panel here. I don't know if that was chopped off a Mini or it's a replacement part. I don't know. It was on eBay. I bought it because I thought I might need it. I think I only need the bottom half, so I'll put it in. I'll cut somewhere along here that's good, and I'll stick that in, and I'll get the repair panel. That side of the boot, I think I can fix. Maybe. We'll see whether this hole is too bad or not. While we're also going over things, the subframe of the rear subframe of the car, I'm not sure really what the condition is. I'm leaning towards it needs to be replaced, but I haven't had time to wire wheel it. I don't have room in the bloody garage to actually get that out and start repairing or start taking it apart, so it's just stayed there in one piece. The front subframe is here, and to be honest it looks in pretty good condition. Now I haven't done anything to it other than get out the car, so time will tell, but it looks okay, and from what I gather online, the front subframe is far less likely to corrode due to the engine spring or whatever. So thinking of the engine, here is the engine. Condition is really unknown. I tried to look down the cylinders. I can't really tell. I don't want to take the head off until I'm ready. So that's a quick tour of the Mini. It's a bit further away than I thought. Quite a lot to do, I reckon. So to cover what really needs to be fixed is the floor on the left hand side of the car needs to be finished. I'm hoping that'll be done soon. I'm waiting on some sealant, I'm waiting on the little panels, and I'm waiting on some paint, because it makes sense to paint while I can access before I weld it all up. So I'm hoping in the next week and a half that this side of the car floor will be done, including fixing the rear quarter with the repair panel at the bottom. We'll see how nice that comes out. If that comes out shit, I will replace the quarter panel. Then I'm debating whether I fix the boot or I fix the other side of the floor. I'm leaning towards the other side of the floor, which means having to push the car all the way up the driveway, which is 15 meters, turn around on the road, bring it back in so I can flip the car, so I have access to the other side of the car, and when I turn the car I can actually access it, because the way the garage is set up, I can't move everything to the other side to do that. So a bit of a pain in the ass, but that'll do. And then it might also be easier to fix the boot at that end of the garage, which has a bit more space for walking around with the welder. So after I've done that side of the car, it's going to be the boot. The boot is something I'm not looking forward to, generally because this rear panel is damaged, and there's just something about the fact that the panel is like, I think the whole rear car is £400, maybe more like £800. I can't remember. That just feels like so much money to be spending on just a panel So I'm going to try and budget with the repair panels and see where I get. I'm keeping an eye out on eBay for any second-hand panels. If someone has the bottom half of the boot in the UK, I'd love to buy it off them. Or just the right-hand side, because I've got the left-hand side and I can get the panel underneath. The floor, I think I can get away with doing the repair panel and possibly a patch or two further up in the wheel well. Now I think about it, this wheel arch is also screwed, so that's getting a repair panel because it's only a few areas. So I'm just hoping to cut out of the repair panel what I need.
So at this point in the video, I started to ramble about the engine and all sorts. So after listening back to it, it was rubbish. So I thought what I'd do is I'd just show you a slideshow basically of the car from when I got it. So this is when I looked at the car. A few things. It was slightly raining. I shouldn't have looked at a car in the rain, and I should have paid way more attention to the damage. I was so keen on buying a Mini. The novelty of it was awesome. But this Mini was it was in way worse shape than it looks. So anyway, I got it home. Here's it on the driveway. Here is the garage that it goes into when I first, when I first got home, and it did manage to squeeze in. I suddenly realised that there was going to be no space to work on the car. So over the course of the next month, I sold basically all of my woodworking equipment that I didn't need. I moved benches, I cut them up. So I started on the car straight away and realised once I got the carpets up that were soaked, the floor was screwed. You can see it's got those signs. I don't even know why I bothered with this little wire wheel. I was just having a little poke and it got worse. And then this is the rear left-hand companion box, which looked okay until I took out the liner. So obviously I got myself one of those Clark welders. Here's my daughter having a pretend drive in the car. She had no idea how long it was going to take to fix. You can see stuff in the background in the garage, absolutely stuffed while I'm trying to tidy it up. So anyway, the dismantling began. Luckily, the day after this, it was about -1 degrees outside in the garage, and most of this bitumen tar stuff came off with just a hammer, just hitting it. So I was really glad that I didn't have to chip it off. But more photos are the same. This is now the garage in more of its final form, which gave me more space to work on the car. And then I started to get stuff up in the boot. This is my Gretel moment because the car leaves a little trail. Yep, more space. And then I started taking the car apart. Obviously, door off, doorstep rusty. This is the panel I was actually talking about that I need to buy. So that's coming soon. So this is just a sort of a close-up inspection of all of the car. This is the rear valance and the boot hinges. This is underside of the boot. Here's some repairs on the floor in the boot. Basically, everywhere where the previous owners have repaired the car has rusted really badly. So, yeah, not great. So, this is the car on the stand. This is me taking the electronics apart. That's that quarter panel bottom I was talking about fixing. So we'll just quickly flick through because there's a lot of duplicates. That's the inner wheel arch, which actually looks in real good condition, except there's a hole just at the very top. The other side looks way worse, so I think that might be a whole one. I'm trying to dry the car out as well because it's still soaked. There's going to be lots of photos of the same stuff. This is when I purchased an engine crane. And this is quite boring with the electronics. So I took quite a lot of pictures of the electronics and the engine while I was removing it. It was a bit overwhelming, to be honest. The SPI engine bay to start with. It's quite tight. I know there's not really that much going on, but there were things I just didn't have a clue about. So I didn't realise there'd be I think, an expansion tank under the wheel arch, and there's also, is there a catch sort of can sort of thing going on? Anyway, so I tried to take as many pictures as I could as I was disassembling. This pin for the gear change stabilizing was an absolute nightmare to get out. I bought this wheel. What is it called? Basically a splitter for these joints, and it didn't work. It just bent. In the end, I bought a much more expensive kit and used a hammer on the side, and it worked straight away. So here's me getting the engine out. I sort of rushed this, but it wasn't actually that bad. I think getting it in is going to be far worse. And I jacked the car up. Typical. Got the subframes out. Got it out. Got it on the rotisserie. I put the rotisserie on wheels. I need to realise that these pits at the bottom would then twist because of the extra leverage. So I welded some bar stock on an angle iron. So now I can wheel my stand around, which is fantastic. It makes life way